today I want to tell you guys about common folklore, Dominican folklore that I grew up on. But I also want to tell you guys about my personal experience with such entity. So
that sounds interesting.
Which is the entity? I'm like, ugh.
Yes. Okay, so the entity or the part of the folklore that I want to tell you about is called El Bacà. So El Bacà is a demonic entity that can take the form or shape of any domesticated animal when summoned. Something like a dog, a cat, a bull, or like any farm animal.
That sounds like a familiar.
Right.
They say that you could tell that it's a Bacà by the looks of it. So it'll always be like a black animal with red eyes. Like a black cat that you see crossing.
Sound like her story.
So like my mother was killing a bat, and she said there was a form of like, at somebody sent a bat into the house, and she was killing the bat, and she was like, in the name of Jesus, you're a obia bat. Is it something like that? It can take the form of a bat too, right? Or anything?
I've never heard of it taking the form of a bat, but I'm sure like because they said really it can take the shape of any animal found in like the bush.
Okay.
So
I guess that would include that.
Yes.
Yeah. This is an entity that's actually like summoned and acquired by somebody. The reason why people acquire it is for monetary benefits. So it says it is believed that if you're a farmman and you have you're struggling, then you would summon it and it would bring you riches. Like it would bring prosperity to your farm, like your land will grow and all of that. The problem with that is that in exchange for the riches, it takes the life of your family members.
Oh Lord.
Whoa. Do you get to choose which one?
Hold up, I got this cousin, right?
So it actually said that, which I didn't know that in detail before, but it is said that it starts from the youngest person in your family.
Damn.
So it starts from the youngest and then works his way up.
Oh no.
Here's the catch though, and I don't think they give you fine print when you go to like the witch voodoo doctor to get the Bacà. The catch is that its hunger does not satiate. So like once you summon it, it will continue to bring you riches until there's nobody left in your family.
Damn.
Oh my goodness. So gosh.
So that's what it said. So like I said, in exchange for your riches, it'll continue to bring you prosperity. Your land will grow. Your crops will grow. Your animals will thrive, but your family will diminish little by little. And it's not something that's gonna happen like everybody's gonna die at the same time, but it's like one person will go at a time, like gradually. Yeah. I guess once you summon it, you can't take it back. Like you can't be like, okay, we're done here. Thank you so much. Like, thank you, Kirk. No, can't return to sender. People like in the land, they say that if you see that somebody's family starts to like die one at a time, then more than likely that person is like, if they got the money but they don't have the family, that means that they summon a Bacà. Yeah, so when I was reading, it's interesting because it says that it's not common to see it in the city. It's something that you only see it in like farmland because that's where people like struggle, where people are.
No lights like that.
Right, so there's no traffic, no lights, people may be struggling or, may not have as much money. So they kind of like look for an alternative or an option, something. And a lot of people are met with, like I said, there's no fine print, right? So you're like, wow, like I don't know what to do to keep my family going. I'm going to go to the healer and figure out what to do, and boom, you get stuck with this.
Well, can it be like how when like my family have traditionally been farmers, but now we've grown with technology, we've moved up, we moved to the big cities, that still can follow your family no matter what because you made that pact, or your great-great-great-grandfather made that pact to have all of his cattle or his horses, and that might have changed for the family in terms of moving on, and so that could follow you into the city also.
Mhm.
So it doesn't necessarily have to stay.
It's like you're saying, it's like evil eye. Like you can't just. It's
Yeah.
gonna follow you wherever you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a woman of God, but sometimes I think about things like that because obviously, my mother told me that my great great grandfather was, they call a PI man, which is like a good witch doctor, and we don't know the things that they did, or what is it considered good, because if I'm a good witch doctor, that means I still have to do something bad for someone or to make it good for you. You
Right.
understand? So
Because there's a cost to everything.
exactly. So in our life per se, when you look at certain things that happens in your life and you see the younger ones are dying, it makes you start to think, well, that person died, and that person's family, his family was the younger brother that died, and that person in that same family, younger brother died. These are all young people that passed away. It kind of makes you start to think, well, these supernatural things that people do and go to, it does exist, so that's how my take on it is.
So I'm glad you said that, because the reason why I wanted to share this story with you is because when I was around 10, 11 years old, we were no longer living in the bush. Like my brother and I were living in the city with my aunt, but we still visited all the time because I lived with my aunt and my uncle. And my uncle had to go and take care of the land, so he did it himself. So he would go every 2 weeks or whatever, check on the animals and check on the land and whatnot.
Sorry. What do you mean by bush?
Like
Jungle?
farmland,
Okay.
What, countryside?
like the countryside.
Okay.
Yeah. So people from where I'm from, Rio San Juan, which it's a very small, very very small town, you can say. And the city is very small, and then the countryside is the bigger portion. But a lot of people move down to the city because the countryside is a lot of hills, and so you can't really reach it so easily. Yeah, so we moved down to the city, but we still had to go visit the countryside, and like I said, we check on the land, check on the animals, tend to, like you said, tend to the land. We still have family that lived in the countryside, in the bush. So we still whenever my uncle went to visit the land and check on the animals and whatnot, we would stay with my great aunt and her kids and whatnot. And they always used to tease me and my brother because we were the youngest ones. So they used to tell us scary stories and whatnot. So I remember this one time we're walking alongside the road and we reached a forested area. And my cousin went into the forested area. But mind you, this was not our land. We're just walking on the side of the road. So he was always trying to scare us and be funny. He went into the land and he was making noises or whatever. And then all of a sudden, he was older. He was probably 13. All of a sudden, I heard a scream, a bloody murder scream. And it was the daytime. I never forget that sound because he sounded so scared. So nobody moved because we don't know what's going on and we're younger, And I remember him running out the bush fast as his feet could carry him. And then as he was coming out from, the forested area, he fell and he had scratches all on his face and his chest and his arms. And he was bleeding. And we had to it was four of us in total. So the three of us, we were younger than him. We had to carry him back to his mother's house. And they were like, what happened? So, it's there's no doctors and no clinics that you can go to. So they had to, the women come and clean him up and whatever. And, they were asking what happened to him? What happened? And so we said we didn't know. He went into the bush and then he ran out and he was hurt. We didn't know what happened to him. We just heard him screaming and he was crying and he wasn't saying anything. He couldn't say anything. So I heard people saying, oh, fue el Bacà, saying oh, this must have been this entity. And so then that's how this started to formulate and how I started to understand, because from my understanding, el Bacà is something that somebody summons to protect their land, but I guess it's more than protection. Like I said, it brings riches. So like I said, we went into this area that was not ours. It was just the neighbors.
It might have attacked him because he was
trespassing. So that's what I understood, because that's what they were saying, like cleaning him up, and he was not like, he'd never said anything about it, like not
so you
one
think it
word.
probably took his, basically made him not say anything too?
I don't know. Maybe he was so scared of whatever he saw that he couldn't say anything. Like when you see something that you can't explain, then what do you say? You know, like I don't know what he saw, but he never said anything. And like I said, the older people were the ones that saying, "Oh,
even till
that
this
was
day, he hasn't said anything.
Even to this day,
Oh,
he never
hell
said
no.
anything.
God.
He never said anything. I just told my mom about this, and she was like, "Oh my God!" And I told her, I said, you know, because my mom is Venezuelan, so she don't really like, she's not familiar with Dominican stories. But I told her, I said, when they were cleaning him up in the kitchen, that's what they were saying, that he was trespassing, and El Bacà heard him because he was trespassing on somebody else's land. And so that was like my first experience with demonic, what did you call it, Mom?
Entities?
Yeah,
Okay.
but things that people like summon and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, it was crazy. I mean, this was 20 years ago. I still remember that.
Dang.
That sounds horrifying.
Okay.
So he couldn't describe it or anything?
I guess it silenced us
He
too.
was-
You know?
He was just like, he was in shock. Like, he was just like heaving, crying. Like I said, all we heard was this scream. Like I remember that scream. Like he was just so scared for his life. And then he ran. And we didn't know what to do. Like we didn't know what to think. We didn't know like what happened. He was just crying. He didn't know what to say.
Did you guys, I know this is a stupid question, did you guys ever go back?
Hell no. Mind you, when we got near that area, we crossed the street because we didn't even want to go near, like, you know.
Yeah, but y'all didn't know the neighbor or anything?
Yeah, I'm about to say,
No,
no one wants to
the
go talk to
family
the
didn't go to the
neighbors.
neighbor and say, listen, he just ran to your property.
Well, I was 9, so
Okay.
I don't know
So it's a
what the
possibility.
adults did
Yeah.
after this whole thing happened.
Yeah.
I don't know what they did or
Yeah,
didn't
because
do.
if my child ran on your property and come back all scratched up and cut up, I want to know, is there, you got a dog or some kind of animal in there that was, you know, if it's a big forest area, it could have been anything, you know.
Well, it wasn't like a huge forest area because it's all farmland.
Okay, got you. I mean, I would have paid that neighbor a
And it's
visit.
crazy to me because he lived there in the countryside. Like he knew the ins and outs. Like he was, you know, walking the streets and going into the land all the time. Like he was well versed in the area. So
he should have known that
if
could have been a possibility.
right, like if it was a dog or an animal, I don't think he would have gone in there.
Yeah, but like, you know, like when you live in a neighborhood, right, and you're like, you know, don't go over Mr. Jones' area over there. That's a spooky man over there. You know, he's always doing some kind of weird stuff. So y'all kids don't go. And then the kids will use that as a play.
Yeah.
Ooh, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because if he is well versed in the area, that I would know like this particular land here, or maybe he couldn't be the first. Has said something that had to, some kind of story that had to be told about that land. You know, like don't go over there.
Maybe.
But maybe whatever it is felt like he was either taunting too, you know, like
that. I would agree on that because I feel like he was always that kid that was like, you know, the kid that
The jokester.
the
prankster.
taunting,
Yeah.
the, you know, the boy that cried wolf. Like he was always pretending something was happening, and then something did happen.
So you still know this cousin and you still ain't say nothing?
Well, he's a grown man now.
Doesn't matter.
I'm what, like
You never
29, so
called
he's like
him?
40. So
even
no.
to me, like I had to ask my mom about that story that I told you from the first one right there. Ma, sometimes I feel like, wow, like, can I ask you a question? Well, I said it in a way like, I think I had a dream. I dreamt that we were running, and she's listening to me. She's like, that's not a dream, Lizzie. So that it confirmed me that I was what I was saying is real, because I didn't want to come out sounding as though I don't want him to think, oh, you crazy.
Well, a demon chased y'all.
Yeah, so when she said, Lizzie, that was not a dream, calling it, you know, that was not a dream. And then to go tell the story where my mom has a tendency to take over the story and tells it the same exact way that I remembered it, it was like eerie, like, oh wow. And then the maid also told it the same way to her,
Right.
the same way how it happened.
Right, so
And-
it's 3 of y'all cousins.
and all of us having the same sensations as our body was slowing down. And now you can put science into it, like, oh, was it fear? You heard this loud scream, it terrified you, you know, because in terror you respond in a different way, you know. So
So this cousin really ain't saying nothing?
No.
That's what's like. I'm a little concerned. Like, never said anything.
Never.
Right.
I would call that cousin and say, listen, just
unless whatever entity made it so that he can't speak about it. That's
true. Or you have people that sit here and they'll try to. I don't remember.
Right.
Either I don't remember or it was
Stop
the
bringing it
bush
back to
or
me,
some.
yeah.
I don't know. That's just as a grown ass man. Well, now like that's me and Chloe had our own experience, and we just look at each other like, okay, did this happen? You ain't saying nothing now?
No.
That's wild. That's really wild.
Does he still live out there?
Yep.
Oh hell,
So that's why.
nah.
That's why.
Because it gonna comfort him next. I mean, I don't
That's
know.
why he's not
still
saying
live out
nothing.
there.
He still lives out there.
Yeah, maybe when he moves, he'll be like, all right, I got a story for y'all now.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't say anything either. Then I still live there.
That's what I'm saying. If I still live out there, then I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, he still live out there. Like, he lives a couple houses down from where
No.
this happened.
Wow.
Yeah, he can't say nothing.
No.
It's over. He can't say nothing. Sorry, don't call him. Don't call him because
It
it's gonna
never
hear your
happened.
phone.
It never happened.
forget
Yeah,
it.
to this day, he's just like, if you would ask him, he'd be like, what?
Oh,
I don't-
no.
Yeah, nah.
Do you know what the weather is like?
Nah.
That's what he'd be
Okay,
like.
yeah. So never
So
mind.
he's dismissing it.
Yeah, like, it's like, just not.
Yeah, leave that alone. Okay, now I know. I'm not playing with when we go to D. I'm not playing with DR.
Well, listen, I told you that, right? I told you, don't you go nowhere without like.
When I did have to plan to go to DR, I told Josiah, like, I'm like, you have to come with me. I'm not going anywhere without somebody that knows the area. Like, I said, if I go to Aruba, I'm calling you. Like, I went to Guyana, we have our family. Go to Jamaica, we got our family.
Can't you just stay on the resort?
No, I'm not saying don't go to the yard. That's not what I'm saying. What I told her, I said, don't you go into like out of the resort by yourself.
Absolutely. What are you going off the resort for?
Right, like go off the resort by
Who's going off the
yourself.
resort?
You.
Don't
I'm not
go,
going to resort. I don't
right,
go off the
like
resort.
don't go to the yard
Okay.
unless you
Let me tell you
know
something.
somebody.
Every
in the
time my
yard.
family and I, when we went to Jamaica, went off the resort, my dad had a knife to the back of the driver. Right or wrong? You don't remember that? He said, don't you pull over nowhere. Don't you stop nowhere. If it's not the police, we're not stopping. And he said, even the police will kill you out here.
Yeah,
we don't
that is
stop.
true.
We don't stop for nothing. He said, we're going to go here, wherever I told us to go. We don't pull over unless I say so. I don't play off the resort. Even at the resort, you're in danger. Because it's the people outside coming in. And they be, oh, look, I made this bracelet for you. Because they always giving up something,
Yeah.
giving up
Let me tell
something
you,
away
that's
at the
so
resort.
true. You know what was strange though? I went for a funeral in Jamaica, and this so-called family friend brought some mangoes.
Oh, you be eating the
And
mangoes.
only
up.
brought 3 mangoes, and I don't know what in my spirit told me. I don't know, because if I bring people mangoes, I'm bringing them a whole bag full of mangoes.
Yeah.
A whole basket.
A whole basket of mangoes.
Yeah.
You brought 3
Or
mangoes.
different types of, yeah.
And you put that in my hand and tell me, look, I got this for you. And I don't know what it is. Like when she gave it to me, my spirit just got uncomfortable. Like 3
love
mangoes.
mangoes.
And I love mangoes.
Yeah.
I broke my hand over a mango.
Oh my God.
You understand me? That's how much I love mangoes. And
You were uncomfortable.
when I opened up and I saw those 3, it didn't even give me the like to just go in and to urge to go grab it and start eating. Because people call me nasty. Oh,
She
you
dirty.
nasty. She say, oh, you dirty.
You go to the supermarket, she be, I like that mango.
I wipe it.
Miss.
I would wipe the mango and I eat it. You know, that's how they're like. Calm down. They're
Calm
like,
down.
you an animal. You know, but there was just something very terrible with these 3 mangoes in my spirit. For me, not to want a mango, it's one of my it's the number 1 favorite fruit
Wow.
for me. You understand? And anytime I see a mango, it's like whoa. And I wind up putting it down and giving it to my husband, actually, come to hold it for me. I said, listen, this lady gave me these 3 mangoes. And I said, but isn't it ironic? It's just me, my husband, and my son.
Oh no.
It's 3 mangoes.
Oh no.
You understand? I mean, there was other families, just me, my immediate, me, my husband, so because my daughters didn't go. I put the mangoes down, and it was no story behind it, but it's just the fact that I go to this country where like mangoes was like falling off the trees. My husband even climbed a mango tree, coming to that funeral, and pick like about 20 mangoes, picking it off the tree and dropping it down. And I feel maybe I said, oh Lord, maybe that's the reason why I didn't feel to eat a mango. But there was just something about this mango that I just didn't have the desire to eat. I didn't even touch it.
Oh, so
I
never
even put my hand in to touch. I just opened the envelope and see these 3 mangoes, and I was like, something's not right here. And I gave it to my husband. I said, listen, You all onto this because I am gonna go here. He wind up leaving wherever he forgot it, and I said, well, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
It was meant to be that way.
Forget them mangoes.
Right.
Forget them mangoes.
So it's like thinking about DR alone. DR is something else. I mean, but you go to these places and what she said, Bacà? Was it?
Yeah, what you say?
Bacà.
Bacà. Al-Bacà.
El Bacà. What does that
it's
mean?
just Bacà.
What does that mean?
That's the
It's
name.
Bacà? Oh, I don't
It's
like
just
that.
Bacà.
But what does it mean?
That's
no
the
meaning.
name.
That's the name.
That's what I'm saying. That's weird. Like, I would think there's a
You
name.
probably find it in some of those like books, with all the demons and stuff.
Because it sounds like a familiar, but familiars don't get. Familiars get summoned?
Yeah, that's
A familiar?
well, I guess in some cultures,
Huh.
because you can't pick your familiar.
Yeah, no.
You can't just say, "Hey, I want this or that."
Right. That's why this one is weird. And this cousin is dodging it like, nope, Maybe when he
You don't
moves,
wanna talk about
he'll
it,
be open
yeah,
to it, but that's us.
Maybe in a future episode we can,
When he moves, we call him up.
Yeah, and be like,
Because
hey,
right now you couldn't call me.
tell us the truth. What really happened out there?
Yeah, it's good to have to see if you can talk to him and say, listen, this is what I do, and we talk about this, and if you don't mind, remember when we were this age.
When he moves.
My thing is, right, when we brought him back home and this whole thing happened, they didn't say, oh, the children were playing and he got hurt. They didn't say like, oh, what were you guys doing?
So the adults knew something was up.
So the adults knew something was up because they're cleaning him up in the kitchen and talking about this was el Bacà, and I'm like, what are they talking about,
the
So maybe like you said, they already knew that this was going
True.
on. When we told them like this is what happened, he came out of here and looking like this, that's what they were saying. And it was concerned, like, no, they didn't say anything to us, the children, about what happened. They talked among themselves about what happened to him. And to this day he won't say anything. So I don't know if they told him not to talk about it, or he doesn't want to talk about it, or what happened.
Sure.
But they were the ones, like, the adults never questioned us as to what happened to him, or what did you guys do to him, or what were you guys doing that he got hurt. Once we said what happened, it was like, oh.
Yeah, they had an idea then already. Because like mom just said, if it's a dog, it's a dog. But you're going to hear a dog.
Yeah. Even the
There
cat,
was
you
no
can hear
sound.
cat. That's what I'm saying.
There was no
Just you
sound.
screaming?
All you heard was him scream.
There's they already knew what was up. They knew something was happening over there.
Because the animal's gonna screech our whole
Right.
it's attacking
Something,
you. Yeah.
right?
Dang.
There was no sound, just him. All you heard was that bloody murder scream.
So what's the moral
and
of the
that's
story?
it.
Don't go in no bush.
I mean, we all from the bush.
No trespassing.
Yeah, no trespassing.
That should be the title of the story.
No trespassing. That's wild. Yeah, definitely. I would never trespass anyway because I'd be freaked out.
When you go hiking in areas here, for example, there are rural areas that belong to the state, but then you have like private sectors that might be attached, and you'll start seeing like on random trees, no trespassing. I'm like, no, go the other way.
I don't like that.
Go the other way.
Ain't no trees be moving and stuff. I ain't with it. I don't like. Okay, moral story is no trespassing.
Moral
Period.
of the
Don't be trying to
story.
scare people.
No
Trespassing.
and don't be trying to scare people.
Well, nah, I like scaring people. Scaring people's fun. Well, it's not me.
So my question to you is: would you trespass on somebody's
Nah, my mom
property
would-
to
my
try
mom would
to
beat
scare
me.
somebody?
My mom would beat me.
Because I would never do that.
But-
I'm not putting myself in danger to try to scare you.
When I say scare, like my uncle, her brother. Did y'all see the Instagram video when the girl locks her brother or somebody in the bathroom and it's like a Snapchat ghost?
Yeah.
And he's like fighting, throwing his hands.
okay.
That video makes me laugh because he's like this, and he starts throwing his hands trying to fight the ghost. And I think that video was so fun. But somebody said, "Oh, it's not funny. I don't like that." I was literally, my uncle used to scare us. He would lock us. And this might sound like child abuse. In my grandma's house, they have the it's like the slave quarters kind of thing, like the basement. Not the basement. The first floor has the staircase that goes up to the second floor. He would lock us in there, and make the Chucky laugh, and bang on the door. So we in there by the washing machine shaking, or you bathing. He didn't grab your foot while you're in the shower. I could have busted my head open multiple times as a kid.
God.
He'd be hiding in the closet. Period. He used to scare us all the time. So when I say
This
like
adds to character.
right, like, and that's why I love horror stuff because my uncle used to scare us as a kid. So I just love being scared. Fine, but I'm not trespassing nowhere to scare nobody.
Yeah.
Especially in no bush. I'm scared of bush.
sure
I'm scared of
he's
ocean.
never
I'm
did
scared of
that
bush and dark. No.
No, but when I was in Guyana, when I'm walking through the jungle, oh my goodness, it gives you such an eerie feel, especially when the sun starts to come down and everything starts to get dark. it's like obviously the noise that comes out of it. And I don't know, like the natives just like, they read into all of these things and they know, right? You hear everybody get quiet. And when they walk, they walk with a little bit more intention. It's not like when the daytime you're just walking through. I see that, like I could see everybody just, but as night comes, they walk with a little bit more intention, and they really are precise about where they're going, how quiet they are, as though there's something that's lurking.
There is.
You know, and
I mean, that's the thing about the darkness,
I don't feel it's
right?
like the animals per se. Yes, I mean the jaguars and these things are there, but I feel it's more of, you know, like I remember my mother said one time, she says her father told her, whenever you find gold in the water, you can play with it. Play with the gold, play with the diamonds, because they did. That was back in the days, though. They would, because
everywhere.
It was everywhere. But make sure you give it back.
Yeah.
Because that big water snake that lives in the water is
no.
coming after you for it. So they would play in the water and stuff, but at the end, she said we would throw it right back in the water.
But isn't there something like that in Hawaii? Like some kind of volcanic rock, they tell you don't take it, and people been taking it.
Because it's sacred.
Right, and they said like you'll get haunted, you take it. Something happens to you. And I think somebody got to a car accident and the rock rolled. It was...
I was watching that. The US, like the Americans try to make tile out of it for the
some
floor.
weird stuff.
And the natives don't touch it. You're not supposed to take it. So they started then making what is it, like something that looks like it, but it's not it, because you're not supposed to take the volcanic rock.
But you said what the Bacà was, you said that was during daytime, no?
El Bacà?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened.
Well,
That's
because
worse.
you have
Like,
to think about the fact that, like I said, it can literally be any animal.
Right, but what I'm saying is like how me and my mom was just saying is like, okay, at nighttime that's when things get. I don't think in the daytime I'm gonna be like.
Things don't have to abide by our rules.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like you told me to walk outside, right? Well, not now, but you know, I'm like, all right, cool. But the thing, like something is there. Like at night, I know.
Would you be comfortable walking in some random bush even if it
hell
was
no.
daytime? So that's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is like at night you're more cautious.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. At nighttime, I know. Oh, the possums is coming out. I'm gone. I'm crossing the street. I'm the possums, the raccoons, the skunks. You know, skunks is the thing now.
Yeah.
But in the daytime, I'm like, okay, you know, those night creatures are sleeping. So I think someone just
in the
grab
daytime,
your ass up.
even if it's a forest place, like you say, even as you walk into a forest, it gets darker.
Yeah, because all the high trees.
Yeah, the high trees make it dark.
I don't like the shadows. The shadows creep me out.
But you know, daytime gives you like a falsehood of safety.
True.
Like those things don't have to abide by our rules. Like, oh, you know, it's early in the morning. Things like this can't happen.
Right. Look at the aliens was in the clouds. Right?
Yeah, the aliens.
You're right. All right. Say less. Don't trespass. Moral of the story.
No trespassing. Not even to scare somebody.
That's wild. Ugh. I'm grown to think that I can't share the story. He traumatized for real.
He is so traumatized.
He probably believe now. You know, some people don't believe until
something happens to them.
It's true. You're right about that.
Wild.
He was never the same.
Yeah, because now he deaf every time I come up like, huh?
Well, that is all for the story of El Bacà. Please let us know your thoughts on our Instagram account at Bloody Coconuts Podcast. And if you have your own story of El Bacà, please drop it in the comment section. All right, y'all.